get vaccinated, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about what it could do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us. To learn more, please visit hereforuswa.org.
This is your Rainier Avenue Radio.World community update on free online exercise classes. The YMCA of Pierce and Kitsap counties has launched more than 60 free online exercise classes and youth programs to support the health and well-being of the community. Classes include boot camp, yoga, weightlifting, boxing, tai chi, and more. Find classes at ymca360.org. No membership is needed to access these classes at ymca360.org.
Rainier Avenue Radio presents All Music, All Day Saturday. Music, All Day Saturday.
This is Edwin Bailey, Bulldog Blue.
Jazz from the Cabinets.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy.
Start time.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Pierce. This is Start Time.
Saturdays, all music, all day. Reggae Hour, K-Fox Night.
You looking for the perfect beat? Yeah, it's the beat of the box.
Fresh Juice with D-Money and
Myself, D-Money.
Nice Size Patrol.
Taylor Hart.
this is Vincia, the Northwest Rap Gang.
DJ Bettina. Chad Cheddar. Northwest Rat Gang.
Sergio Lacour's Love Line.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Go to the phone line. Tell her who we talking.
Sea Monster Radio. Mo Jams is your jam.
We're live. Welcome to Mojo Mondays. This is KZ of KZ Music Media. Caller Goddess for Mojo Mondays.
Just my opinion. God is inspiration all day and all night. Saturdays on Rainier Avenue Radio.World.
Atlantic Street Center has been serving the children, youth, and families of the Seattle-King County area since 1910. We partner with families and communities to raise healthy, successful children and youth through services including counseling, early learning, youth development, domestic violence, and education support for school-aged children. Committed to serving the African-American community, Atlantic Street Center provides services and support for all marginalized people. Learn more at AtlanticStreetCenter.org.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.World. Don't forget to log on www.RainierAvenueRadio.World.
Hello, world. Bettina Carey here, and I'm the founder and CEO of We Empower You, the community, and WeEmpowerYourLife.com, the website. And I'm here today on Rainier Avenue Radio, where we're live, and we're here to help folks to shatter their glass ceilings, and that's with an S because there's plenty of those to go around. And it's because we believe that glass ceilings are meant to be shattered right to the floor. And I am going to be quoting for you a little bit of a statistic today. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 4 million Americans quit their jobs in July of 2021. A great proportion of these people are women. Our next guest helps transform purpose-driven entrepreneurial women from stuck, stagnant, and unfulfilled to happy, liberated, hopeful, and healed. Micaela Passeri is an award-winning emotional intelligence and business performance coach, international speaker, author, and founder of the Love You Revolution emotional and business mastery training programs. Entrepreneurs and business owners hire her to identify and release the trapped emotions in their subconscious mind that have built up walls around their heart, around their money, and more, and love and happiness, and so that they can achieve more love and happiness. With over 20 years of experience building 6- and 7-figure businesses, Micaela puts her business degree and many certifications to use by turning her attention to helping entrepreneurs to achieve high performance results. Her work has helped hundreds of clients boost self-confidence, tap into their inner wisdom, increase productivity, banish anxiety and demotivation, cure business stagnation, and monetize their business to 6 figures and beyond. And of course, I'm all about shattering the revenue glass ceiling. So I'd like you to welcome Micaela Passeri here, where she's going to help us to go on a soulful journey of self-expression to discover your voice, to be seen and recognized for who you are and what you do. Welcome, Micaela.
Thank you, Bettina. It's good to be here. Thank
It
you
is
for
great
having me.
to have you. You're someone that I met just before COVID had been declared, literally the end of February of 2020. I had attended a conference that you hosted for Global Women, and we've been partnered up ever since. You've been a speaker on the We Empower You Global Virtual Summit stage multiple times. You're coming back on March the 9th. And we're going to welcome you back again for your great topic on emotional intelligence. So, you actually know that there's many of these workers that are exiting stage left, and I'm sure some of them are contacting you right about now. They basically reached a breaking point after months and months of working from home. The pressures and workloads are massive, and it's led to this mass resignation, as it's been coined. And many are rethinking their work and their life goals. And that's really what you're all involved with, especially if it leads them to entrepreneurship. So in working with women and helping them embrace their emotional intelligence, you help them to achieve their life goals. And I think that is a brilliant role to play in society, number one, for you as a business.
Thank
but
you.
also you're doing a really great service to the women, and possibly you have some men clients that
A
are
few good ones,
shattering
yes.
those glass ceilings. A few, right? A few bold men, as I always say. So share with us, what got you in this field, number one?
Well, it was my own journey. It was really my own journey of self-discovery and my own journey to self-love, self-value, self-confidence, that really brought me to a place where I, realized that if I could go from feeling like a black cloud was following me everywhere and really waking up in the morning feeling hopeless and helpless and just really dejected to, waking up in the morning as if the sun is always shining every day, right? And feeling happy and connected and on purpose and fulfilled and satisfied and really in love with life. If I could do it for myself, why wouldn't I want everybody else to experience that? And so, I dabbled in a lot of different modalities. I did lots of personal development work, and I found specifically a few modalities that really supported me in creating the shift that I needed. And so I decided to become certified in those. And, some of those are NLP, law of attraction, mental emotional release technique, emotion code, right? So I use a lot of different modalities to support my clients because they worked for me. And so as I saw, my own evolution and my own shifting and my own stepping into my strength and my purpose, my commitment, and really my my success, different level of success, then I was like, okay, then I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to help other people get there as well.
Yeah. And what you're talking about is this path that you were on to experience emotional intelligence, right? So when you have emotional intelligence, then you're kicking self-limiting doubt and belief to the curb, right? And that opens up a lot of possibilities in your world. So you had a path of self-development, personal self-development. You were on it, and then you stumbled onto these various modalities, and you've been steeped in this for years. And I happen to have met some of the women over, the years, or the 2 years now that I've known you, that have taken some of your programs, and they have nothing but the greatest things to say. I have to, mention Sally Page, who's also a member of We Empower You, a member of Global Women, and of course, speaking at the We Empower You Summit. So tell us about how do you find these people? What do they go through in order to elevate their emotional intelligence so that they come out the other side going, hey, limiting beliefs, you're down to the curb. I'm stepping on you and walking away.
Yeah. Well, so first and foremost, what I learned going through my own journey was that the number one key to create change in your life is understanding your emotionality, is looking at the emotional hooks that unconsciously, right? So you're not aware of them. You need somebody from the outside to support you to become aware of them, that unconsciously are still basically taking you places you don't want to. So it's creating the results that you don't want. Maybe you're not making the right decisions that you should be making. Maybe you're holding back, right? Maybe you're stuck in negative conversations that really keep you in suffering and in struggling, right? So that was really the emotional part, the understanding how to manage your emotions around money, success, being seen, romantic relationships, whatever, right? So that's number one, was absolutely at the foundation, and it is the key to personal success. There was a study at Harvard University that basically showed that 95% of successful business owners, that includes entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are business owners, 95% of successful business owners had a high emotional intelligence. So what does that tell us? That tells us that in order to achieve a certain level of success, you've got to raise your emotional intelligence. And so that's what really I learned throughout my own process, was that I had to, even if I didn't want to, I had to dig deep into my heart, understand what I was conversating with myself about unconsciously, right? And what was in the subconscious that I still hadn't moved past from, that I still hadn't healed, events from the past that maybe created certain conversations that were disempowering for me, and that I was still, attached to them 20 years later, 30 years later, right? And so what I help people do is we identify those, we release them, and we create new conversations that then in turn create new neural pathways in the brain.
I
that
love it.
Then literally allows the subconscious, right, to now tap into the new neural pathway in the new conversation and slowly dissolve the old one. So that's really kind of, and it's a lot more complex than this, but this is kind of in a nutshell, because I know we have a limited amount of time, really what needs to happen for a person to raise their emotional intelligence, raise their emotional vibration, and really, like you say, shatter that glass ceiling if we're talking about, money, income goals,
love,
remove the walls from the heart if we're talking about romantic goals, etc.
Yes, absolutely. So, we talk about the words emotional intelligence, and you just described a whole plethora of what I would refer to as triggers. And one of the techniques that you use, of course, is to bring people to the present moment, right? Because when you're aware and you're in the present moment, you're not as likely to get taken out by these triggers. So that's just one of the modalities that you probably teach and train on. What are, give me one of them, and then we'll go maybe through about 2 or 3 of the modalities that you teach.
Yeah, sure. So absolutely, every person that I work with, in every class or course that I attend, or even speaking engagement that I do, I always talk about that awareness is key number 1. Everything starts with awareness, and emotional intelligence is really, it is self-awareness. It starts with that, right? So awareness is key number 1. Why? Because it allows us to become aware of that unconscious pattern that otherwise we wouldn't be connected to, whether it's mental, whether it's emotional, or whether it's behavioral. So awareness is key number 1. One of the modalities that I use to support people in, really creating awareness is emotion code. Emotion code is it is that modality that allows me, the practitioner, to to identify from a person's past an age and the emotion that was triggered at that time, that created a certain pattern for them. Right? So so really that is like one of the emotion, one of the modalities that I use. Then we could go into MER, mental emotional release technique. That is really another. They're all modalities that really access the subconscious, right? So it's always subconscious based.
Yes.
But mental emotional release technique is basically allowing the person to kind of relook at certain events in the past from a neutral place. So that whatever negative trigger was created, that slowly gets dissolved. So it's really creating a disconnection and a removal, right, in the subconscious of that connection to that negative emotional experience.
Yes. I liken it to a little bit to reprogramming, because we grow up, and our major influences are parenting, and then we've got the educational system, we've got media as an influence, we have all the relationships that we develop in childhood and then in young adulthood and so on. And it can be like you've got 3 or 4 suitcases or a few trunks that are dragging behind you. And when I first discovered emotional intelligence, it was through Daniel Goldman, when I was probably in my early 20s or 30s or something like that. And I would have to say that wake-up call to drive towards this path of emotional intelligence has really saved my bacon in life. Because if I had just looked at my domestic violence, that I had in high school, and that alone, I could have had major issues remaining the rest of my life. So many women who've been the victims of domestic violence carry that, the result of that, and that the emotional baggage that comes with that into their senior years. And so I thankfully was able to work through that. Didn't know you at the time, but I absolutely, you are speaking my language of emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And it also opens up a lot around money. So let's get really clear about this money situation, right? Because I talk about this revenue glass ceiling that folks find themselves experiencing because there's only so many hours in the day, and you're only going to charge so much an hour, and you're only going to want to work so much in the year. So at the end of the day, you reach this ceiling, and the only way to shatter that ceiling is through some of this really important work of unlocking your hidden potential and your inner power. So share with us like an example of a success story without giving any names or private information.
Well, so first and foremost, you call it the glass ceiling. I call it a wealth set point. So what I do when I work with people is I really support. So I have a business degree, and I have actually built, several companies, but, some 6 figures, some in 7-figure arena. But so I know business, and I know strategy, and I know how to generate in a business. And so what I help people do is really understand their inner workings and their inner thought process when they're confronting something in their business. So whether it's their marketing, whether it's speaking, whether it's a sales call or an enrollment call, if you're a coach, right? Follow-up, right? So we look at all of the aspects that have to be present in the business for the person. And then we take a look at, okay, well, what are you doing here? And taking a look at what's not working, we make sure that gets removed, and then we implant what does work. So usually it's strategy based, right? And when we use that strategy, then usually there is where there's the connection to the inner conversation, because a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, they end up facing their terror barrier in one of the areas that they have to work in their business. Might be speaking, might be marketing, might be a sales conversation. Like sometimes people feel uncomfortable asking, for a payment, or asking, proposing their product, right? Or service. Mm-hmm. So it's then tackling, okay, when we're working in this area of your business, what comes up for you, right? What comes up, what are the conversations, and then replacing that and giving strategies to overcome that, so that then the actual logistical strategies that then they have to implement to create the result go smoothly, right? So there's a client of mine that actually is in the entertainment business here in LA, and she had all these followers. She was, a lot of music videos and had a lot of followers. And, she was at a point where it's like, okay, she wasn't generating, she had all these people, she was putting herself out there, wasn't generating, she wasn't making any money. She had made a shift into a business, right? Into doing some stuff on her own as an entrepreneur. And it was like, wasn't doing it when nothing was happening. So, but when she started working with me, immediately we did the emotional release work, and then we applied strategy and found what her Achilles heel was. And for her, it was really in the enrollment conversation and in the way that she would propose herself to people. So once that happened, boom, she landed, I think her first client after that, she landed a $10,000 client, and she's been selling her programs. We obviously also created programs for her, so she had different levels, but she's been doing great and selling several of her programs.
That's a great example, Micaela. Yeah. And I know we're going to run out of time. I'm going to have you come back, of course. But your website, Love You Revolution, it's absolutely a stunning website. And tell us a little bit about the love part of this language that you're talking about.
Yeah. So
how do you apply this?
Yeah, because it is an introspective journey, and part of looking within is you got to be courageous to look within. But you also get to love all aspects of yourself. It is about loving yourself. It's about understanding that some parts of yourself need some healing. Some parts of yourself need some tweaking. Some parts of yourself are just great as they are, right? But you got to bring that love, compassion, grace to yourself so that you can do that inner work. So that's why it's really a revolution of the self. And that's why it's a new revolution.
Tell folks that are listening and watching, how do they get in touch with you on your website? I know you've got your courses link and your calendar scheduler. What's the best way for folks to find out more about you?
Well, the best way is if they go to my website that I know you're going to share here.
Yes, go ahead and say that, what it is.
Yeah. So it's loveyourevolution.com.
Okay.
And so LOVEYOU, all spelled out, revolution.com. You can go to the contact page, send me an email there. I believe on also my website, there is a place to just book a call with me, just a 15-minute connect call. If this topic interests you, or if you feel that there is a deeper place that you want to get to, then we can have a 15-minute, get to know each other call. We can connect, and I can answer any questions that you might have. And I'm obviously also on Facebook, so you can send me a request there too. But I'm behind on my Facebook requests, so I know I'm getting close to my 10,000 mark. So probably the best way is to just go on the website and book a call, and
that's great. Thank you.
The person on Zoom.
Yes. And so one more time for folks that are listening out there, it's loveyourevolution.com, and click on the contact link, and you'll be able to book yourself an appointment with Micaela. I'm so happy to have had you here today. You're also coming as a speaker to the We Empower You Global Virtual Summit. And I'd like to tell everybody about this. So, but first I'd like you to share what you're going to be talking about at the summit.
Well, I think this time I want to change it up a little bit. I want to talk a little bit more about courage, and how courage, it's actually scientifically proven that courage, arriving to a level of emotional vibration at courage, really allows to open up possibilities and allows you to then start stepping into the path to shattering the glass ceiling. As you say, Bettina, and as I say, is really constantly raising your wealth set point. So I'm going to talk about that, about how important the emotional vibration of courage is.
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait to welcome you. So I'm inviting all of you that are watching and listening to some of the world's leading empowerment coaches like Micaela. Trainers, authors, mentors, thought leaders, and cheerleaders are going to be at the We Empower You Global Virtual Summit on March the 9th this year. And, there's that old saying that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And this is all about going together. It is in the spirit of togetherness that we aim to help connect more talented coaches to the people that they might help. And you can join us for free and share your knowledge in this Find Wealth by Giving endeavor. You will be shoulder to shoulder with some of the world's best thought leaders, newsmakers, and game changers. And you'll see exactly for yourself what the We Empower You community and membership is all about. And it's a blend of altruism and business, to be sure. And this endeavor is audacious, and we hope to plant seeds that will take deep roots because we need you. We need you right now. So if you have a goal of helping others reach and achieve their next rung, or if you work to aid in lifting people up like Micaela to kick those self-limiting beliefs to the curb, then you're going to want to join us at the March 9th We Empower You Global Virtual Summit. Again, 500 tickets is all we have for free, but you must RSVP. And you can go ahead and go to our website, weempoweryourlife.com, and click on the Summit Tickets tab to get your free ticket. And that will deliver you the Zoom admission so that you can join us. Together, we will go so much farther than apart. So, Micaela, it's been wonderful to have you here today. Give us a little parting thought here. Take about a minute.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, first of all. If you're in business, whether you have, a successful business or you're just starting out or you've been dabbling, kind of in a hobby and it hasn't produced, I really urge you to start introspecting. And the simple thing that anybody can do without having to spend any money or hiring anybody is to start asking yourself, what do I love? What makes me happy? Right? What am I here to do? Those simple yet really deep introspective questions will allow you to connect deeper into yourself, to start looking at the places where maybe there might be some room for evolution, right? And then following the inspiration that comes from that. So, it is an inside job and it all starts from within. So it is definitely a journey. Especially entrepreneurship. It is a journey because it really has you face yourself and look at yourself and start where you're at and start introspecting, because that's the first step. And then if you feel like you need support, would love to support anybody, you can reach out to me.
I love that. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to have you here. Our next show coming up on Rainier Avenue Radio, where we're live, is When You Meet a Leader, episode number 5. Thanks, everyone, for listening and watching. Please leave us a comment. I read every one of them, and I love the feedback. Join us each and every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye for now. Take care.
Bye.
Ask most anyone if they feel empowered in all areas of their life. If they're honest, they'll likely say no. Hi, I'm Bettina, Carey, and I may be only 4'9½", but what I do is big. Dream big, break through, and connect to powerful people like you. And what I'm doing is inspiring and empowering others to break through, shatter their revenue glass ceiling. And I'm here to tell you that the We Empower You community is where you're going to want to be. It's a community. It's a membership. It's a movement. And what we're doing is helping you to start and run your online business without doing a thing. We're helping you to find angel investors that you don't have to pay back, to run your own membership program where you don't have to do the work, and so much more. We are here to empower you at the We Empower You Global Summit and the weempoweryourlife.com. Visit us on the web at weempoweryourlife.com or text the word Bettina to 555-888. We'll see you at the summit.